Now I couldn't resist this delightful Sony radio cassette player, portable. Picked it up a couple of years ago now, and it was for not a bad price, £3. It's a little bit kind of dirty in places where it's been, I guess, stored, and then I bought it and then I've stored it. So anyway, that explains how it looks. Some paint there which needs to be taken off, but all the buttons look intact. The aerial looks good, and the jet works. Look at that. It's even got a graphic here, graphic equalizer. So maybe a bit of bass, dial that down a little bit, that down a little bit. Yeah, looks great. Nice sliding volume control. You can select from tape or radio. So obviously if it's set up to tape, then it won't be powered on until you press a button, and then radio, it should just come on and be fine. But you always have to make sure you turn that switch off to switch the whole thing off. So it's got 4 bands actually, which is not bad for a radio cassette of this era. So we've got FM shortwave, believe it or not, medium wave and long wave. So that's not bad. I think this might have been used in maybe an old people's environment. I'm only guessing. Well, there's a couple of clues. So the keys on the top have been labelled. So no one wants to use pause by the looks of it, but there's a stop, record, play, wind, fast forward. That obviously I can take off. Looking at the front, mention the graphic, there is a microphone, so you can make your own recordings with this. And you've got the tuner here with fine tuning as well to kind of home in on those weaker kind of stations. So let's turn that round. And it's got an address there. It was from Hazelmere, Surrey. And there's your power going in there. Quite a few batteries by the looks of it for something quite small, so let's have a look. Yeah, so there's 6 big chunky batteries to go in there. So that would probably have given you a good amount of time to use this outside. So I haven't got any batteries at the moment. What I have got is a mains lead.
And gifts everyone, literally everyone will love.
It's already set up. It's feeling a little bit stiff.
That not every kid had that.
Catherine, you can handle this heat.
Okay, looks reasonable. So it's nice that it actually works on the radio side. Now there is headphones there as well, which is a good option. Shortwave, you're really not going to pick up too much, especially where I am.
It hadn't been addressed. And you see, Roger Moore, the famous, actor, of course, he complained that all he had was a headache, that it didn't help him at all he had was a headache. And I've also heard horrible...
Picking up a lot of electrical nonsense that we have around us these days. Okay, I'm going to go and put a tape in there, I think. It says auto shut off. That's a nice option. And I'll just turn up the volume.
Michael Jackson.
Okay, and play. Oh dear. Well, and it looks like it's going to be a bout that needs changing, and on this one, yeah, look, it's the same on any of those buttons. I need to take this apart to have a look. Now the screws look to be buried deep in there. Oh, there's another switch on the back that I didn't see. That's for FM, so when you've got weak stations you can just make it go to mono, because often mono was good enough and you could get by listening to it. But I will just take that off as well. I'm only thinking, take it off in case there's a screw in there. There is actually. Okay, I think it's not always obvious when you turn them enough. So I'm going to do the old shape test. So I'm hoping it's going to be relatively straightforward. Whether or not I've got the right bands remains to be seen. So the screws are labelled with an arrow. Nice. Kind of letting you know which ones turn. So it's just a case of pushing. You have to be very gentle because you don't know what the plastics are like. Oh yeah. Here, for instance, there's some kind of plastic that looks a little bit delicate. Isn't it up there? Okay. Well, I can see a bout, one bout. Oh, there's a missing bout. There's one bout there. Where's that gone? Oh look, I can pull that off. So that's good. That's the aerial. I can probably separate the speakers as well. It's just a bit tricky to see. Oh, handles come off. And look what I found. A broken bout. That one. If it's just a straight like that, is that going to be too tight? I'll have to run it a little bit to sort itself out. That one underneath could do with being changed actually. Is it just straight underneath that one? I'm just checking. And I think it feels okay actually. See what it does when I put some power to it. Let's put it. This one just goes in like that. And we push from the top. Now turn it on at the wall. Tape is trying to play, but I wonder if the other belt is stopping it. I'll just show you. It did look like it wasn't very smooth at the beginning, but maybe that is okay. No, it's looking like it's kind of jumping slightly. That haven't changed. That's the new one on the top. And the other one's just looking a little bit wobbly. So it's not going to be good enough to leave it as it is. So I will change that. We'll stop it first though. Let's just see if it winds. That's fine for that. Okay, let's turn it off at the wall. And thanks, they've given me enough room to work with, so that's good. Now we will look at this other belt. So that one, I think I'm going to be happy with that. I think it's tough enough to withstand that belt. And this one looks like it just goes underneath here. There's something kind of stopping it a little bit there, but I think I can work around that. It's a little bit kind of gooey in here, is it? Yeah, there it is. It's looking a little bit not great. Particularly. They're kind of underneath anyway. Well, that looks better. That looks a lot better. So I went a bit tighter in the end, just like I did with this one. It looks happier. And what's interesting, I'll just show you. The interesting thing to me is this here looks like it's got hairline crack developed. See that? I'm going to put a little bit of glue on there. I don't think that's obviously under a bit of strain. I don't want that. If that pops off after I've been using it, then yeah, it's going to be kind of lost in here, isn't it? So yeah, let's get a little bit of glue on that as a precautionary move. And I've just noticed something else that's just broken. It looks like no, I don't think it's been glued before. Or maybe it has. I'll show you. This bit here seems to have come away as well. So that's this mechanism. I wonder if I can work out what that's supposed to be doing. So the little bit of plastic has come away, so I know where it's come away, and it's got a little spring on it. So I'm going to see if it has any effect on just playback. And it does. So the way it looks, it needs to be sprung and pulled kind of in this direction. Even if I glue that back in, I think that needs to hold. I've got a little bit of wire. It's fairly thick. That's what it's called, 0.5 mil basically. And what I could do is put a little loop in. And I don't think it's not gonna get in the way of anything. It's on this side. Having said that, I need to just make sure. Okay, probably have to come at it from over here. So I need a little loop, and let's go a bit more of a twist. Let's go at it from this way. So I could use a cable tie. I think that's a bit chunky. Although you can get small ones, can't you? Want something I can kind of twist and put like that, a bit like a hoop. It's going to be very minimal. Make sure you're doing this with things switched off, and then another little hoop at the other end. So 2 new belts, put the bottom one on first, followed by this one. This is the bit of plastic. There's white plastic on here that was broken off. That was basically holding on to this spring, this end of the spring. Luckily in the moulding there's a hole there that I've threaded that wire through. So that seems, so if you look, it's engaging fine. It's playing as well. I'm gonna have the tension on there. You can see that is a good workaround, and there's plenty of room in the back here. It's not going to be touching anything. I think that'll hold, so that's good. So that replaces that broken bit of plastic, but it just shows you with the age of these things some little workarounds you might have to do. I think it's working a bit better than it was. It seems to be driving the wheel a little bit easier now. That's the take-up spool. The fix here seems to be good. So if I just stop and show you, it engages. See? So this has probably had a very heavy time in its previous home. This is a C90, so that's press brake. Yeah, it doesn't look great. And this is the rubber part I took off of this bit, and it is quite cracked in places. It's probably quite hard to see, but it's obviously worn down, and I've just tried to replace with an O-ring for now, so that's what I've put on there. No idea if it's going to work. I managed to pry the other wheel off and get much better access, so that's looking a lot more hopeful there now, if I can get it all back together. I did take it apart a little bit more to see what access I had from the other side, but there's not a great deal there, so it's just a case of really kind of being careful but working things apart. I received some random sizes here for helping me to fix this Sony cassette radio, and what I need to do is just get back at it in here. Now unfortunately I did lose the little retainer that was on top of here, so I have got some from a Walkman that should fit, so that's what I'm going to try to replace it with anyway. But that's the little plastic retainer that just sits on top there, so you have to be very careful with that. So the one with the crack in it is the original, and I think the one next to it, although it's not as thick, it's the right size, so that's the selection that I've got. I probably will have to pad out this one. I used a very cheap Chinese belt to bulk out that bit of plastic wheel, which I then put the rubber tread on. So as you can see, it seems to be taking up the tape fine now, which is great, and I was able to reuse a little retainer clip from an old Walkman, so that's good. And I'm going to assemble this back together now. You can see the new retainer clip holding that Coggan rubber wheel on. All in all, a worthwhile little project. Took a little while to get the delivery of the new rubber rings to go round the little wheel, but it's all working well, and this is a really good model actually. It's a CFS 212L, and it's really nice sounding, very pleasant. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that. Just needs screws now to be put in, and I need to give it a bit of a clean, as you can see. Might leave these little labels on just for a bit of humour, but yeah, works really well. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll make some more videos in the future. Bye for now.